Hello, welcome to Oxford Heirlooms. In this video, I'll be sewing the buttonholes on the back bodice of the little garment. Okay, now I have already marked the position of the top of the buttonholes. I don't need to worry about the bottom because this old-fashioned Singer buttonhole attachment has templates that create certain size buttonholes. Now I'm making 3/8 inch buttons, and I'm going to put my buttonholes on the left hand side because since this is for a little gentleman, it's traditional to have boys' garments to button left over right rather than right over left. Okay, now let me see if I can get closer in over here. I'm going to make sure I'm clicked all the way to the top of the buttonhole. Okay, I've got my light green thread in. I'm going to put the fabric up underneath. Let's see, put the lace in here. Okay, there we go. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to line the edge of the bodice up with the side of the presser foot. I'm going to lower my needle to make sure I'm at the position of the blue mark that I put in. Okay, there I'm going. And now I'm going to lower my presser foot and I will begin to sew the first buttonhole. I love this buttonholer because it makes beautiful vintage heirloom looking buttonholes. There are some newer machines that are on the market that are quite pricey that mimic the look of these old-fashioned buttonholes, but my machine doesn't do that. Okay, all right, so as you can see, let me trim my threads. Okay, as you can see, that little buttonhole, it's kind of rounded up at the top and up at the bottom, or and down at the bottom. Okay, all right, so now let me click to the top of the buttonhole again, and I will line up for the next buttonhole. I've got 3 buttonholes to make back here. I'm not going to drop my presser foot until I know that I'm dropping my needle in at the level of the blue mark, and I'm lined up with the edge of the fabric and the edge of the presser foot. Okay, I'm going in. Okay, now we'll start the second buttonhole. The nice thing about this is since it has the template inside the buttonholer, each of the buttonholes turn out to be exactly the same size and exactly the same shape. And with my buttonhole foot attachment on my newer sewing machine, it has a little slot where you put the buttonhole in so that the machine will know how big to make the buttonhole. But since on heirloom garments, I use either 3/8 of an inch or 1/4 inch buttons, those little buttons tend to fall right out of the buttonhole foot. And that is very bothersome. In addition to the fact that the buttonholes are not quite as pretty as this old-fashioned buttonholer does. Okay, so let me line up with the edge of the fabric, drop my needle, make sure I'm going in right at the level of the blue line, drop my presser foot, and proceed to sew the last buttonhole. these old-fashioned buttonholers are available on eBay and perhaps even Etsy. But in order to get all of the different size templates, you may have to be patient while, you know, items show up either on eBay or on Etsy. Because I think when the buttonholer was brand new, I don't think that the tiny buttonhole cams came standard when somebody bought the buttonholer brand new. Okay. Oops, I'm underneath. Let me get my threads out from under here. There we go. Okay, so we have 3 absolutely beautiful buttonholes, heirloom quality, on the back of the garment. Okay, so sewing the buttonholes on the back of the garment was what we were doing today. Thank you.